Now can you guys hear me? I was just talking. Jen texted and said she couldn't hear me. My husband and I tested this and we like totally thought it was working right. So can you hear me now? It reminds me of last year's webinar. Nobody could hear Jen. And it was just hilarious. People were sending me messages asking me, well, why can't I hear Jen? Okay, we're good. So I'm going to get started. So welcome. We have a few people here already. Let's do this. So first, I just kind of wanted to introduce myself to the people who are new to the community, to kind of go a little bit more in depth in my story of how I've ended up working with Jen, being part of this beautiful community of women who continue to inspire me every day. Many of them have inspired me to pretty much change my life around and start my own business. And I love everybody, and I can't speak enough. Like, the heart and soul is our community, and we want it to grow, and we want it to thrive, and seeing all the new faces and just feeling all the new energy that's kind of surrounding us right now is really amazing. So my story is, this is my third resolution challenge, which is insane. I can't believe that much time has gone by. I'm detox done. I was lucky enough to do the detox in December with Jen. We opted for the more paleo approach, and it was great. I'm feeling wonderful. It was, even going in the third time, it was tough. It was tough, but it was well worth it. I'm really excited about these 3 phases that Jen's created for us this year. It's a tried and true, do your own adventure and do what's going to feel good for your body. Personally speaking, I started out kind of on the ignite phase of things, and then kind of had to switch it around a little bit and go into glow a bit. And just kind of swap elements of each. Sorry, I'm getting text messages at the same time. I'm swapping elements of each as I went around, so it was really great. Just kind of my overall glow story is that For the Glow has been my nutrition and fitness foundation for these 3 years. I have lost almost 100 pounds using Jen's nutrition strategies and her workouts. I've had to scale back a little bit on the HIIT just due to an injury. But I'm still doing sculpt, and Jen is still kind of keeping me motivated behind the scenes to still stay active and move and not kind of sit with my injury, which is so easy to do. And the one thing that I saw already that's been so great has been people saying, hey, I'm injured. Can I still do this? Can I still do that? Absolutely. I'm living, breathing proof that you can still thrive on this program, even if you are hurt a little bit, because when you're hurt, it's so important to really take extra care of your body. So that's my story. My food story really is just, it's kind of like everybody else's. I grew up in a meat and potatoes household, didn't touch fast food till I was a teenager, became addicted. Lots of things in my life just kind of led me to having an unhealthy relationship with food, and really, For the Glow as a whole has taught me how to look at food with a fresh kind of perspective, look at it as fuel, and look at it as something that can really heal my body. We all still, eat food that tastes great, and my motto is no sad salad. So if you're new coming into this and you're kind of daunted by the idea of the salad aspect, or feeling like you're going to be eating nothing but greens forever, greens are good. Greens love you. You'll love greens. And with how things are structured, you're going to be really happy. And my goal as one of the coaches for this resolution challenge is to really provide you guys with some recipes that still fit these kind of nutrition profiles, that are tasty, that are good, that are easy to make, prep to table in less than 30 minutes. So that's kind of the exciting thing that I want to work on for you guys. So that being said, I wanted to move into kind of the #1 most common asked about thing so far, at least in the community, bone broth. It is amazing. I actually, even when I'm not detoxing, it's actually one of my #1 things to kind of sip on the regular, have in my house. My friends can attest to the fact that I constantly have a crock pot boiling of bones, just because for me, it's helped with inflammation. When I'm not eating well and I'm really feeling that injury, I know that I need to kind of slow things down and have my broth and enjoy it and really take extra care of myself. I want to pull up my notes here real quick, since things kind of started not in shambles, but just a little not the way I wanted to. I wanted to make sure that I had my notes pulled up. So #1, it's healing. You know, when you're in this kind of detoxy phase, we, for the most part, have leaky guts, or we have things inside of us that need to be healed. Bone broth and its properties really help seal up those little holes that we might have, whether it be stomach, intestines, that kind of thing. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like drinking glue, but it's just kind of like healing your body from the inside out. And it's, for me, just looking at leaky gut, it's helped me kind of tame some chronic acid reflux that plagued me for a long time. I first started drinking bone broth about a year ago when we were going into last year's detox. And it really, like, I was, and people who have taken classes with me in Seattle can attest to, like, I would have to take Tums during class because my acid production would just be way out of control first thing in the morning. And it would just be insane. So for me, that's been like the #1 kind of fix, other than, you know, helping my inflammation. The other great thing about bone broth, and I even, when Jen and I were doing the detox, saw and heard this, she's got a little bit of a poppy knee just due to her increased kind of mobility schedule, I guess you would say, and due to running marathons and such, she had a poppy knee, and it really, I'll get into the types of bones that you'd want to use for bone broth, but really helped her, kind of her joints calm down, and it kind of eased that snap, crackle, pop that sometimes I would hear as we're going downstairs. So it's great for that. So it's not just as a healing kind of property, but as a preventative. You want to keep your joints kind of lubricated. For some reason, that word just creeps me out. And really, people take glucosamine supplements to kind of help their joints. And if you go to the supplement section at Whole Foods, you see, you know, all the different joint complexes and such sitting in front of you. Personally speaking, you can get a lot of those same nutrients from a really good bone broth. So let's talk about the type of bones you should use. Different bones are going to give you kind of a different flavor, different texture, that kind of thing. If you're really looking for a pure healing, kind of all around fantastic bone broth, that's going to kind of do everything you want it to do, you want to have a variety of good bones. I talked a little bit about this to some of you in email, so I'll just kind of give a run through. For me, my perfect mix when I make bone broth is I do about 1.5 pounds of marrow bones. I do about 1/2 pound of oxtails, or some sort of kind of, I don't want to say fatty, but just like meaty hunk of meat to help with taste, and then also get kind of an extra level of fat in there. Most commonly, you want to use larger bones like knuckles. You want to use, and I know it's definitely when you get those, you know, the knuckles and the joints from the animal for the first time, it can be a little scary. I completely understand, but that's where your collagen is going to come from. That's going to really help with your skin. That's going to help kind of give you that glow. It's going to help kind of just, I can't even describe it. The difference between when I'm drinking broth that has, you know, collagen in it, or, you know, collagen pieces in it, versus when I'm not, it's astounding. It really does. I feel, besides my greens and everything else that I do, it really helps kind of give me that glowy skin, and it helps keep my skin clear. Just so we're on the same page, protocol for some, and which I would highly recommend, is if you can, sip a cup of bone broth in the morning as your day is beginning. I know everyone needs to fit in their breakfast or their smoothies at different times, but really, if you can get that bone broth in on an empty stomach, it's ideal. It kind of hits you the best. And I know we're all doing shooters and such in the morning, but just my opinion and what I tell my clients is if you can do bone broth first thing in the morning. And if you think about it, it's going to be a great replacement to sipping coffee, because we're going to be giving up coffee for the next few weeks. And for some, it's just a ritual. Like, we're just used to having something warm, especially right now with how cold it's been in the Northwest, actually everywhere. We just want something warm in the morning. And that's typically when I've been trying to have mine over the last few weeks. It's just in the morning. So I feel like I'm having something warm, and I'm kind of feeling warm from the inside out, because we know it's tough when it's cold to have a smoothie first thing in the morning. It can be done. I do it. But it's also nice to kind of balance that out first thing in the morning with some bone broth. So in terms of my preparation method for bone broth, what I highly recommend doing is you got to roast your bones, and that really kind of pulls out the flavor. And I'm going to also, I actually have a PDF for you guys that I'm going to put in the community probably by tomorrow morning, with my recipes and kind of how I make my bone broth. But essentially, you roast it, you put your bones in a crock pot, which a lot of recipes online will tell you to simmer on the stove. For me and my lifestyle, it's just far easier to put the bones in a crock pot. And I'm getting texts at the same time. Again, I'm so sorry. It's just easier to kind of set it and forget it. And I keep that, like when I'm making bone broth, like that's what I always think. Like, I essentially dump everything in, put in some veggies to kind of give it an extra layer of depth. And then usually let sit for about 24 hours. And then after that's all said and done, I'll add my fresh herbs at the end, usually for about 30 to 60 minutes. If fresh herbs stay in there too long, you'll end up with kind of a really earthy flavor, which for some they like, and for some they don't. So that's just kind of my tips. And it's just important to remember that if you're doing the heal protocol, that no bone broth is going to be kind of included in that. It's just going to be in the glow phase during the detox kind of portion of things. And the Ignite could use it too. So I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm just going to scan the community real quick. I'm seeing like comments and stuff that I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions or any. And the other great thing about bone broth, if you do make it for the protocol that you are, if you are doing, you can use it to kind of as a base to any soups or stews that you make during the detox, with kind of your approved food list. That's important to remember. And then I also like kind of adding, when I'm roasting vegetables, adding some bone broth in, just to kind of give my food a little kick. So okay. So the other thing that was asked about a lot was, well, a couple times over with smoothie combinations, and I'm happy to. So Nicole just asked, back to the bone broth. So there is veggie broth that you can sip in the morning. It's the same idea as bone broth. Since I realized that we probably have some vegetarians in the mix, I will, in the PDF, give you guys a recipe for bone broth, and then what I use for veggie broth. My veggie broth actually came before my bone broth, so I'll give you guys two options. It can definitely be done, and I think that would be a-okay. Because again, I'd love for you to be getting something warm in the morning just because it's so gosh darn cold. And I'm like sitting here in a sleeveless shirt and I feel ridiculous. So smoothies, got asked a few times about favorite smoothie combinations. Jen has oodles of smoothie recipes available. It's important to remember, speaking from experience, because I haven't always been like a smoothie connoisseur, I don't necessarily think bad combinations of vegetables and fruits or vegetables in general create a bad smoothie. It's the ratios that can kind of create a bad mix and kind of give you that smoothie that you don't necessarily want to finish. I've done it. We've all done it. We've had that smoothie that we've put our kind of best intentions into, thinking that like this much of this one thing's going to be great. And in the end, it ends up sometimes going in the garbage disposal, sadly, because we just can't finish it. So one thing that I'd love to do for you guys, I don't know how quickly I can do this, but just to kind of show you what ratios of things, because a lot of those Seaglows have had my smoothies and they've asked me, how do I get it so smooth? Why does it taste so good? Blah, blah, blah. I'd love to show you what my ratios look like for my smoothies. Usually, and this is not speaking necessarily specifically to the detox, but I do 2 to 3 handfuls of whatever green I'm using. I really, personally speaking, and I think as overall, we kind of try and limit our fruit intake, less than half a cup. Jen can attest to whether or not that is the right kind of ratio. I know that's what we were doing last month, so it sounds about right. And then liquid. Liquid's your friend when you're making smoothies. Don't feel like, I know I've already heard that some people feel like they have an aversion, or they do have an aversion to coconut water. They don't like the taste of it, which I totally get. So add water to your smoothies. That definitely doesn't. It's liquid. It's liquid. We want you to hydrate. We want you to stay kind of fresh, and we want you to be able to gulp the smoothie down, because fear of coconut water shouldn't stop you from having a really great smoothie. So I think I'll snap some photos for you guys just of what the right ratios of things to be putting into your smoothie are, and maybe give you a couple more ideas, because what Jen has put in the guidebook already for you guys is great. They're really my tried and true, what I do all the time. So that's my best recommendations. But I think we should talk a little bit more about ratios to make sure that we're getting kind of an even spread of things, so we're not ending up with sludge. Sludge isn't fun. Sad smoothies aren't fun. Sad salads aren't fun. Sad food isn't fun in general. Checking a couple things here real quick. Okay, let me check my phone. Okay. So the other question and this is like my happiest spot when I start to talk about this, how do I prep my food to make it last? Girls, I feel you. I can remember my first resolution challenge, going to the store and literally spending a bunch of money on beautiful produce and getting home and thinking, it's here. What do I do now? So in terms of just prepping food and keeping it fresh, I'll speak to that first. For my clients that I work with in learning how to prep, I cannot, and this is going to sound really cheesy, the Debbie Reynolds green bags save my life. They save their lives. They're bags that are magic, and they will help your greens stay fresh for weeks to come. When I was doing the detox, I just happened to have a bag of collard greens in my fridge, and I ended up going out of town for about a week and kind of checking out of my fridge, and I came back and the greens were still good. So really, Debbie Meyer's green bags. If I can figure out how to screen share, I will show you guys what I'm talking about, because really it's amazing. They are, I know they're here somewhere. Okay, I'll find them. But they are essentially just large bags. They're not necessarily Ziploc bags. They have an open end. What I like to do when I get home is just rinse all of my kind of leafy greens out, because I feel like everything else stays good, but those leafy greens are the things that get sad so quickly, especially if you just come home and leave them in the sad plastic bag you get at the grocery store. So another trick to this, if you do invest on those green bags, which I found the right window, let me show you guys what they look like. So there's green bags and there's green containers. The green bags are what I use for my clients for kind of putting their leafy greens in on a regular basis. So let's see, share. So these are the green bags that I'm talking about. They are obviously fairly cheap. If you're in Seattle or anywhere else that has a Bed Bath & Beyond, you can find them there. They're usually in a very weird place. So here's the great thing about these green bags. If you're in, like anybody else, you take your reusable bags to the store to load your groceries in. Save yourself some time, take your green bags with you, put your produce straight in. People might look at you weird, but time if you know that you're not going to be able to get home and prep and do everything right then. You're putting your food directly into a vessel that's going to help you get it fresh, or keep it fresh. I'm sorry. Let me see, are these? And so see, essentially that's what the bags are. You just, I cannot talk enough crazy talk about these bags. They're so great. The other thing that I use to keep my stuff fresh, and this is really good for storing pre-cut vegetables in, is the Debbie Meyer Ultra Light Green Boxes. These can also be purchased at Bed Bath & Beyond or your friendly neighborhood Amazon.com. We use these obsessively in my house. It is great for kind of portioning out what you're going to need on what day, or just stowing your leftovers. And yeah, just like Jen said, you are saving the environment by using the green bags at the store, because we hate plastic bags in Seattle. I wish you could have all seen my face when I said that. So you can buy these, $40. It's an investment. They last forever. I don't know what this is, but I have a feeling it's something amazing. So let's learn together. I've never seen these before, so I can't speak to whether or not they're great, but you know what? I will try it and get back to you guys, because that's a really great idea. The other thing that can affect, I'm going to get off the green bags kick. Just everyone stop what you're doing. Go buy green bags. You will thank me for it later. The other thing that's important to remember when you're storing your fruits and vegetables is that vegetables emit gas. It's science. It's science. And if you're storing the wrong vegetables with the wrong fruits, things, no matter what you do, will go bad no matter what. So storage is key. I know we're all working on limited space, so I have a list of kind of the do's and don'ts of how to store your foods, what foods can be friendly, what foods cannot be friendly. It's science. So that will be in another PDF, and I'll provide some links to these, to the green bags that I love so much. So the other thing I want to say, if you don't want to make the investment in green bags, but you do want to try and keep your things fresh. Before I discovered green bags, kind of my tried and true philosophy or hack at keeping my stuff fresh was I would rinse out my greens. So I, do everything I need to do to make sure that they'd be fresh. Take my greens, lay them out on a paper towel, roll them up, takes care of the extra moisture, and then I pop them in as a Ziploc bag. It's not as great as doing the green bags, but if you don't have access to the green bags, or you just, you don't want to do it, that would be the one thing that I would do with your leafy greens. Trying to think of anything else I can tell you guys just in terms of keeping things fresh. Let me see if there was any other specific questions here. Okay. Let me check my notes here. So if you are new, so I just want to allow a little time to see if anyone else pops in or has any other questions. Oh, let's talk about one other thing regarding food prep. Because I feel like I need to talk a little bit more about it other than storage and such. I think the one thing that the veterans and I have all chimed in and said is prep is everything. I know it's an investment of time, and it can suck when you are shopping on the weekend and you get home and you've had to deal with cranky people at the store and you just want to stuff your stuff in the fridge and like deal with it later. I get it. I have those days. But prep is key. Prep is what will have you ready for those unexpected moments where, you know, it seems like my food of this resolution challenge is a cheeseburger. When you're faced with a cheeseburger, you know you have something like ready for you in the fridge that's going to help kind of nourish you and keep you on the right path. So really, if you can make that investment after you go grocery shopping, don't pass go. Don't even, just do it and get it out of the way. You will be so happy that you did throughout the week. And be okay if you can't prep everything in one day. Be okay. I'm working with somebody right now whose prep schedule is a little bit at a time. It's all about kind of creating those habits that you can sustain, not just for the resolution challenge, but kind of over time, so you can sustain that healthy lifestyle. It's not really about doing, I mean, we should try as hard as we can to do as much as possible. But we're going to have those days where we feel like we can only do half of our prep or a quarter of a prep, or, you know, this is what I do for a living, and sometimes I have a hard time getting it all done in one sitting. So be okay with not getting it done in one flail swoop. It doesn't have to be. You can do it a little bit at a time. My always solid recommendation is just to really take good care of your leafy greens to begin with, because those are the things that will go bad quickly, which is so sad, so sad. So I've already talked for about a half an hour. So I'm checking to see, does anybody have any other specific questions? Because I feel like the community has done a great job in that thread, kind of answering one another's questions. So thank you all for that. It's really great. All the veterans are really stepping up, and I just want to hug everybody. That's what I keep on saying. Just checking a few other places. I just want to make sure these all aren't like, I can't see or hear you. So the kind of the last thing that I want to talk about, not really in closing, just to kind of kill time, in case we have some more questions, but I want to speak to the progress over perfection kind of part of things, and I want to speak to everybody's inner critic that I've even had to wrangle with, and our fear of not being perfect during this time. Jen's already touched on it a bit. I want to touch on it a little bit more as one of the coaches, just because I feel like it's so important to understand that we are human beings. And there are going to be times where, again, you might have a banana and you're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done for my day. I'm done for this week. I'll start again on Monday. Don't do that. My mission is to stop these crazy, I need to be perfect during all phases of these weeks that we're spending together. It takes time to learn how to create kind of concrete change within ourselves. And while I'm not saying that you're, you know, I want you to have an, oh my God, I fell into a pint of ice cream moment. I just want you to be okay with the fact that might, you know, that might happen in a smaller form or something. But you might have a meal where, you know, it's not 100% on point with what your protocol is kind of telling you to do. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. My motto for this year is to be okay with being perfectly imperfect, because no matter how hard I try and how hard I prep, I am human just like you. And I have moments of not weakness, of just wanting to indulge a little bit. And while that's great down the road, try and stick with protocol as much as you can. The detox is going to bring up emotions like you will not believe. It will. There is, again, we as humans have so many emotional attachments to food for whatever reason, whatever things that we've been carrying around with us for years. For a lot of us, it manifests in our relationship with food. And these habits are hard to break, and it's hard to teach ourselves new habits, and be okay with the time that it's going to take to learn these things. It's the whole Rome wasn't built in a day. You weren't built in a day. You did not get to where you are today by changing everything overnight. Chill. It's going to be okay. We're in this together. If you're new, you are just seeing the glimpse of the amazing community that we have surrounding each other. No question will go unanswered. I know Jen's taking a little break for a little bit, and I applaud her for that. It is brave, and I'm not going to cry, but as her friend, and as I consider her my mentor in this field, she is amazing. It's amazing that she's doing this, and I am here for you guys, except for when I'm sleeping. And that's the other thing that I want to say, is that not only is our community here, but I don't want there to be any fear or kind of worriedness over the fact that, our gal's having to step back for a little bit. And it's okay. I got you. I got you 100% of the way. You guys have my phone number now. You guys know how to reach out to me. And so many of you have already reached out to me through email, through Facebook, through Instagram, through all forms of social media. So whatever it is I can do personally to make sure that you're successful, whether it's, hopping on Skype with you for 5 minutes to tell you that everything's okay, or to tell you that, no, Oreos, they're really attractive, but you don't really need them right now because you're feeling those detox symptoms. I'm here, and I want to do it for you guys. Your success means everything to me, because this program has, without a doubt, changed my life. And I want you to be on the other side of change. I'm waiting for you on the other side of change with open arms, as that god-awful Creed song says. So, or arms wide open, whatever, you get what I'm saying. But there is so much good there. There is so much, it's so good on the other side. And getting through the detox is rough, and you will have headaches, and you might not want to leave bed for a day, but give yourself that time. Slow down on that hustle mentality that tells you that you have to do 5,000 things in one day. It was tough for me, and it's tough every year as somebody who juggles 50 plates at a time, to slow down, but give yourself that time. Allow yourself that time. You are worth this time, without a doubt. And I can't stress that enough. You are worth every headache, every sad feeling you might feel. Let yourself feel it. Write it down. Like, I'm not telling you to go journal, but if that's your jam, that's your jam. When you're feeling crummy, do something that makes you happy. And hey, if that's letting your laundry wait another day and settling in for a friend's marathon, do it. This time is for you, and it's about you. And be absolutely selfish in taking this time for you. You deserve it. You work hard all year. And if you're a mom or a caretaker or even just a girlfriend, you spend a lot of time taking care of other people. And taking this time to take care of yourself is so important. So that's kind of my tangent on allow yourself these weeks of self-care. And during the detox, allow yourself this time, because when all this is said and done, there's going to be some really great workouts waiting for you, where you're going to definitely see a shift in your body. You're going to feel a shift in your energy because of this time that you're taking for yourself. So as Jen has been saying, don't stress out about the workouts that are coming down the pipe right now. Worry about taking care of you, because that's what's important. And I understand it's hard. Checking a couple couple other things. Let me check the community one more time. So thank you guys for bearing with me with my ums and probably awkward smiles. I am not usually the one on the other side of things. I kind of joked around with my husband and I said, if I was going to have like a good opening, I was going to say, hi, I'm not Jennifer Jordan of For the Glow, but I'm going to help you as much as I can. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. The other thing that I really want to ask you guys is share the program. It's still available. I don't want to do a sales pitch, but I want to tell you that as somebody standing here entering my 3rd year and feeling great and losing certain things like diabetes and high blood pressure and weight and just flipping my plate and changing my relationship with food, share the program with the people you love. They are as deserving as you of this self-care time. It's still available, which is crazy. I think this is the longest that the program's been running. And if I could shout it from the rooftops, I would tell everyone to join the Resolution Challenge, just because the energy this year is so great and we really can't. The momentum is wonderful and everyone who is new is so excited, and just share the love, tell people about it, and, you know, let them know that there's a girl gang waiting to help them out kind of on the other side. Checking one more thing. Oh, so let's talk about the gelatin real quick. I had the gelatin pulled up for you guys. And Jen, let me talk about gelatin. Let's talk about gelatin. It was in my window with my, I got so like insane about the green bags that I forgot about the gelatin. So let me show you guys. Cameraman, no. Screen share. I'm going to be a pro at this before you guys even have a chance to see it. So this is the gelatin. This is gelatin that can go in cold water. And I think Jen posted that. It really does. A little goes a long way. And it is the best. The other gelatin that I've used that's been great has been the bulletproof gelatin. It's a little bit more pricey, but it's amazing as well if you can make the investment. I'm a Dave Asprey fan, so I love the collagen that he has. So this is for cold water, and then this is for warm water. So I've heard rumors that this is available at Whole Foods. I've never actually seen it in the wild on my own. And to be quite honest, I think you're going to get a better price on Amazon. So that's kind of what the dealio is on that. And I actually, gelatin's actually one of my favorite things to add to my smoothies post-workout. It just kind of helps me feel fuller for longer. And it does help with my recovery. When I'm not doing gelatin, or collagen, I should say, I feel very crunchy, just overall. Let me stop the screen share. And I think okay, I'm back. I think that does it. I don't know. I might have a couple of these kind of maybe once or twice a week, if there's interest, just to kind of be the voice on the other side. Just me personally, I feel like we're so on our computers and on our laptops and on our phones. Like this is typically what I look like. And for those who watch the Golden Girls, it's like Blanche Devereaux's room. It's the only reason why I got it. So I might try and do a couple of these through the Resolution Challenge, if you guys are interested, just so there's kind of a voice and a face to everything a little bit. I know personally, like I was getting ready to say, it's easier for me to kind of feel that relatable connection with somebody when I'm having interaction, even though this isn't one-on-one. It makes me feel better, and it helps me eloquate the fancy words that I want to say to you all. So anyhow, big hugs. Big days are ahead of us. Ending thought is don't stress. You got this. You are a capable human being, and you will survive and thrive and feel wonderful when everything is said and done. Your community loves you. Your coaches love you. Jen loves you. I love you. And we want you to feel supported during this time. So whatever I can do, again, to help you succeed, you've got me. I'm here for you. I want you to send me an email in 3 months and tell me how great you feel. Tell me how you're rocking those burpees. You're going to do it. Anyhow, with that, I think I'm done. So I'll be in the community, kind of taking things over tomorrow for the next couple weeks. And I will also post my email address if there are some, because I understand there are things that people want to be a little bit more private about and asking questions, and totally get it. So my email is your email. Reach out to me. I'll open up maybe some Skype sessions as well if anyone needs some one-on-one time. So big hugs from me to you. Thank you for surviving my first webinar with its technical difficulties and lots of saying and being very nervous. So I'll see you in the community. And if you're in Seattle, I hope to see you on Friday at the potluck. That's all. Goodbye. If I figure out how to do this the right way. Okay. Bye.